Nice.
Yes, Luani. Yes, Dino. I'll take the
Yes,
reins.
yes, yes,
Luani.
yes. Yo, yes, we're live, people. Therapy Army, let's be having you. Another dreaded draw specialist, draw FC. Hey, big up. I'm sorry, bit late, and we're in the dark, but it's all good. Listen, what can I say? That penalty could have easily been given. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy what's going on. Absolutely crazy what's going on, people. But Manchester United doing what they do. For me, I want the players gone. I wish I could get rid of them all, and I could get rid of the manager as well while we're there, because they have been absolutely. That game was abysmal. That game was abysmal to me. Really abysmal. Every way that you think about it, that game was abysmal. We could have, we should have been beaten in that first half. I think 4-1 at least. We would have been 4-1 if I'm not mistaken. If you looked at the clear, obvious chances they had, they created better. They were cutting through us on a daily. That's a nice one, yeah. They could cut through us on a daily, and they could like get into 3 passes, 4 passes, and they're having a shot at Unana. And I thought Unana was one of our decent players today, because honestly, aspects of the game for me was just, I was just in a shock of how easy it was to get at our defense, get at Manchester United, and yeah,
Wait a minute.
I
Wait,
don't know
wait a
what
minute.
else to
Wait, wait, wait,
say.
wait, wait. Why are you shocked? Why are
No,
you
no, no.
shocked?
Listen,
That's a very good question.
no,
A
listen. I'm
fantastic
shocked.
question.
No, no, no. Listen,
What are you
no,
shocked
because
about?
I'm like, no, no. I'm shocked because I'm like, they cannot be repeating this again and again against Bournemouth. Against Liverpool,
What?
I could accept it. I'm accepting it against Liverpool, but I'm not accepting it against Bournemouth. Sorry.
Now you sound like Ten Hag now.
No, no, no,
Again.
no. Sorry, bro. Don't be shocked. That's our MO. That's standard procedure. That's our welcome package. Don't be shocked. If you expected anything different, then that's outside the narrative of what we've been saying. The whole point of this Ten Hag thing is you are doing the same thing every single week, conceding 20 shots against everybody, and you think you're just going to outscore teams. This is the indictment. That's the problem. We're wide open. It's another basketball game. Do you know what I mean?
So I agree with you on the principle, right? That doing the same thing over and over again and
Mm.
expecting a different result is what they call madness. But I disagree, like on the specifics. So I think you're saying it's a tactic. For me, I'm saying I think it's the players essentially. Like when the game started and I saw the lineup in the group chat that I'm in, I sent like I'm wondering what Ten Hag expects to be different today when he's starting the game with Casemiro, Bruno, and Rashford, who have been shit for months. Like, what did he expect to happen in this game today when he came with that lineup? The exact same players that have been playing shit. Everybody has been calling for Ahmad. Mason Mount has looked good. What do those guys have to do to get a chance when these players are stinking up the place? And the manager has set up today expecting a different result. I think for me, like I want to wake up on Monday morning and see that like Ten Hag has been sacked. So it's not like an end of the season. If they decide to wait to the end of the season, then I think we should expect that he's going to be here next year. And in that case, we move because I'll still support the club. But I think if we're going to get rid of Ten Hag, for me, that's where I've come to. Like, I just want to wake up on Monday and see that he's gone because he's clearly a madman. And he's either a genius, like he's either some kind of genius that's, is we're yet to see, or he's actually like literally mad. Like the sun has heated the top of his bald head and he has lost it because I don't understand like what I saw today and the game that we all watched.
Okay,
Sean,
fair
I have a
enough. Go on.
question for you.
You go on, Luani, man.
Sean,
Sure.
you saying that it's not the tactic, it's the players. Okay,
Yeah.
let's assume it's the players. I agree with you. Okay, it's the players. Now, as a manager, isn't your job to get the best out of your players or to play to your team strength? Because I'm confused.
1000%. I agree with you. Like, so I'm saying what I want to wake up to see on Monday morning is that Ten Hag is sacked. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no. I've come around to you guys' position. is what I'm saying. I think the manager, like I don't accept this argument that like he only has 11 players and that you can't play anyone else in the squad and that Amrabat can't play or Ahmad can't play or any of these guys can't play. So Bruno, Rashford, the same players have to play every single day. Like, what does that mean? What are you doing in training that nobody else can step in? Like, what's the point of having a squad, essentially? Is it until somebody's injured before somebody else gets a chance to play? Sometimes can't you even have a different idea that you want to play a different approach in the game, so you need a different profile of player? Like the manager, I don't get it. Like, I've been trying to make like sense of what we've been seeing. I was willing to give the manager essentially the time to implement whatever, but if he's going to keep playing, like if he's trying to give them instructions and he's picking a set of players to implement those instructions and those players are not doing it, why do you keep playing the same players? Like, change something.
You have 22-man squad, okay, and you manage to alienate half of that squad. If we look today, I promise you, if profile for profile, right? If Ahmad play instead of Garnacho, if Martial was playing instead of Rasmus, if Sancho was playing instead of Rashford, and even if Mason Mount was playing instead of Bruno, you have a completely different game. I try to be as sympathetic to Ten Hag as I can. When I look at the system he's trying to play, he's trying to overload the front, the final third, and I'm confused. How are you've had 32 games? Do you need 32 games to understand that Wan-Bissaka and Dalo cannot invert? So if you realize that you have two fullback that cannot invert, why don't you just play with two true wingers? Play with two true wingers. Keep tell Rashford and Garnacho to make the pitch big and open up the pitch, or just try to teach Wan-Bissaka and Dalo to just overlap. Teach them how to cross the goddamn ball. We have no creativity. We have no creativity in the final third, and he's trying to commit a lot of players to that phase of play. And as a result, when we lose the ball, everybody have to run back. 20 minutes after the start of every game, we are knackered.
Question for the panel, for the guys for everybody in the comments. So Eric Ten Hag makes a point. It's a valid point. He says, I can't do what I need to do because the tools I have won't allow me to do the job. The tools are the players. So far, everybody okay with that?
No.
Yeah, so that's what he said, right? So I can't
he's a liar.
No, hang on. I can't do the job. Yeah, okay, he's a liar. So what we do is we want 6 attackers and we want to leave 2 defenders and a sitter, right? That's generally every week the same. And then
not exactly from my ear. No.
The point is here, you can tell me in a minute what you think he's doing. We're committing so many men forward when we can that they're getting us on the transition. And this is why you're conceding so many shots. You're wide open. It's the way he's setting up the team. Tab, why are you setting up the team in only this way when you don't have Martinez and you don't have Varane, but you still do it with Maguire, and you still do it with Kwambala, and you still do it with Wan-Bissaka at left back? Why are you doing that? Change it. Change it to adapt to the players that are available to try and play for a result. Why do you keep playing the same game? It's one long game, in my opinion, that I've been watching for like the last 10, 12 weeks. It's just the same game. Sometimes, you know what? We get a result, we get patches, we get some sort of performance, some sort of positivity. But generally, as Dino and you guys have been saying, the sustainability is impossible to fathom when you are conceding against, forget Arsenal. I don't even want to go to Arsenal and Liverpool, and against Everton, 25 shots, against Burnley, how many shots, against Fulham, how many shots. Today, he's not changing anything. He's just sending them out there to do the same thing every single week. Now, if he doesn't have Martinez and Varane who can allow you to do that. Why do you persist with that when you know Maguire? It's impossible. We understand he can't play that, but still you want to do that. Why? Change it.
Boumaier. I'm not Boumaier.
None of that helps Bruno Fernandes spamming the ball.
The problem is not even Maguire. The problem is not even the absence of Lisandro. The problem is happening at the front. If you have you trying to overload the final third in order to monopolize creativity. The one thing that you need is patience. And in order to build up with patience, you need players that can retain the ball. None of the 6 players we commit forward can retain the ball. And they don't have a creative bone in their body. Rashford cannot create. He cannot retain the ball. Garnacho cannot create. He cannot retain the ball. Bruno cannot retain the ball. So what is he doing?
Let's bring Lesso in, man. Lesso, give us your take. So far, we've got that it was a performance that is not unusual. Sean is coming around to the fact that Eric is perhaps not the guy, and I'm making the point that we're persistent to do the same thing more or less every week. As Luani's mentioned, we're committing a lot forward, but we're getting caught on a transition, and this is why people are being exposed, and I think this is why we're conceding so many opportunities against us. And I'm looking at it thinking, okay, it's acceptable if you have pace there, if you have some experience there, some composure there, but we still basically deployed the team today in the same fashion we would have deployed it if you had some speed at the back, some good ball retention at the back with Martinez, if Wan-Bissaka could play right back and we had Luke Shaw. We're still doing that same thing and we're still conceding that same chances. And look at the goals today. Both of them on the break. How many times were they just dispossessed on the break? It was not good, man. But it was another carbon copy. So what is your take, Lesso, on that?
What can I say, man? I mean, my score prediction.
He said it all, boys.
No, like definitely, he literally summed up everything I wanted to say, and more. But from my own voice, from what I've seen today, is basically what we've went through the entire season. Like, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm getting tired of this Ten Hag conversation. We know he needs to go. There's nothing more that needs to be argued or debated on. Like, there's nothing.
People, Manchester United are shit. We just got to accept it. We got to accept it. We're fucking shit.
Welcome back.
Everybody's laughing, eh?
Listen,
everybody's laughing.
Let's do his
Let the people
speech.
know what Bassett says Man United shit, but that's the times we're living in, I'm afraid. Mr. Bev. You know that. Mr. Bev. Look, the people in Manchester are smoking. We're shit. We need a change. We need a change.
You know what? Shout out to Nuruddin. And guys, there's nothing to debate. Like I've told you guys, there's nothing more to debate on this Ten Hag thing. We should not be having any more conversations on this. Personally, I think for our own mental sake as well. We know this guy has to go. We know what needs to be done beyond board level, and as well as the people that need to come in, the sort of people that obviously also have to come in. So looking at the game today, just basically summed up our entire season. I did tell you guys that possibly.
Unless do you sack him now, or you wait till the end of the season?
Match. No, there's no point in sacking him now. Who are you gonna have as an
doesn't change anything,
how
Sean.
these players are.
No, but if you know you want to sack him, why not just get rid of him?
The season is you can't. No, like, you tell him that it's done. And
yeah, for me it's Monday.
You have obviously you have someone in place to replace him. Yeah, Okay, Sean. That's actually good because I wanted to ask you if you're actually Ten Hag out now because you did say
No, I mean,
you're
I don't see the
mentioning
point in
that
like waiting till
you'd
the
be
end of
Ten
the
Hag out
season.
if you did win.
Yeah, like I don't see the point of waiting to the end of the
No,
season.
but there's no point because now the thing is there's no one you're gonna bring in now for to be interim. And anyways, what's the guarantee that these players will be any different? Anyways, because now, there's so much
No, no,
damage being
I
done.
would hope that they have a
To
plan
the
for
point
what
where
they
you
want to
just let
do.
the guy. Yeah,
Listen, there
I
is a
doubt it
shock because
because
you know what?
when they took over the club and everything.
Sean, I'm a little
There is a
perplexed.
shock
So
because
why they're
Sean
signing
has had enough.
they're
Sean's had
signing
enough because he's Bournemouth.
No,
yeah,
He's
like
had enough.
no, like I literally said that like when as the game started, when I saw the lineup, I sent a message to the group chat and I was like, is Ten Hag like, what's going on? Does he actually expect anything to be different from last week? Why is Casemiro playing? Why is Bruno playing?
But
Why is
but we
Rashford
told you
playing?
this, Sean. But we told you.
No,
We
no. As
told
in,
you this, Sean.
I
We
came
told you
on the
this with
last
this
show.
manager.
I'm willing to give the manager like I was willing to give him some leeway in the sense that he dropped Rashford this time, played Garnacho on the right, benched Anthony when he needed to, brought Kobe Mino into the team, was able to get Evans to
Mm.
show up as a leader or whatever. There've been moments basically, and many of those moments the players have fallen short. But on a game like today, when we've won, I think one game in six prior to this game, and it's the same lineup that has been shit basically for weeks now, what did he expect to be different? And why would he go out to this game with the exact same lineup? So, in the preview for this game, I was like, if we don't get a result here, like I don't understand. And I said for the exact same reason why I would be there if he plays these exact same players away at Bournemouth, knowing what we know about Bournemouth. Sri Lanka is joint third for in Premier League, like goal scoring tally this season. You should go with fresh players who are hungry, not Rashford who
Mm.
only wants to give interviews, and Bruno who all he does like basically is moans, and Casemiro that is on holiday literally as he is. I don't get it.
yeah,
No, but I
why
told
this
you.
game though?
We told you this. We
Listen, I want to
we
ask
told
for
you. We told
Jarvis's
you this,
match
Sean.
reaction. I want to ask for
Um.
Jarvis's match reaction. Go ahead, Jarvis.
Uh,
Yeah, first of all, big up, guys. What a result, and people in the chat and people who's watching, hit that like. There's only like about 36 likes now, and we need to get more. So everybody get involved, hit that like button. The game was a shit show as expected. I said that Bournemouth was going to be a good team, hard to break down. They played with the mid block. They trapped us. They come with the sting every time we lost the ball. They countered us, tried to transition on us, and they knew what we were coming with. We were attacking wide open without any structure at all. Complete chaos. We tried, but they didn't let us. They were much more structured in a way, and they were prepared. So every time we lost the ball, they took the ball and ran with it straight through our midfield, and our defenders just had one thing to do, and that was to back down into our own 18-yard box. We saw it over and over again. There was so much space for the Bournemouth attack to run into. And I warned about this. We talked about this. Everybody know this, except from Ten Hag. He seems clueless, and he seems to be I don't know, immune to do something about this. And we have been talking about this all season long since the first game. This is the new Ten Hag system, transitional system, direct kamikaze football, but doesn't work. We all know it, and we saw today it was the result. So, I'm getting tired of Ten Hag, getting tired of sitting here talking about the same things over and over again. We all know about him. I'm tired of getting excuses about the injuries and signings and backings and boards. The tactics is on Ten Hag, and he needs to get these players to perform. And if he can't, well, the job is too big for him. No one is entitled to be the Man United manager. So Ten Hag, this is his farewell. We've seen it before. Why don't you try to change it up when nothing else works? But we saw it with Ole in his last games. they're getting like tighter and tighter, and they just trust the same group of players. They're trying the same thing over and over again, and nothing works. We saw the same with Mourinho, same with Louis van Gaal. You know, this club, I think it's impossible for any manager to succeed in a way. But it is what it is, and I think Ten Hag is done. I think
Are
he
you?
will.
Are you, Jarvis? Is Ten Hag in your heart? That's it, because I know you're finding it difficult to let go of that last talon that's clinging on. Are you done, or do you still think there's something or anything there?
Well, I try to see it logical as I can, and speak what I believe is the fact and the truth about the game and his tactics and how he set up a team and in-game management. And I try to address the real things, not only like the Ten Hag in or Ten Hag out agenda, because for me, I think that's a boring discussion in a way. I like to look into the details to find out what's actually going on. And I see bright things. You know, I've seen things. I understand that Ten Hag is trying to do something different. I think he has painted himself into a corner by this ultra direct, extreme transition, high tempo, chaos type of football. I think it's impossible. He's asking the impossible for the players to sprint into attack and don't cherish possession, and
But
then
he
have
did it
to
at Ajax now.
sprint down into to defense. I don't think it's possible. And he didn't play this way with Ajax, Sean. He played a different style, more possession-based, more control, not all this chaos. So what Ten Hag is actually doing at the moment, I think, is failing, and he's failing big time. And I think it's time to
With
say
Jarvis, thought experiment now. If we could, you know, that movie where like somebody is like in somebody else's brain and controlling them. If you could help Ten Hag, you know, control his thoughts and tell him what to do, and you give him a different set of players, you know, to try and do what he's trying to do. Do you think it's possible? Because I agree with the critique that if it's not working with this set of players, he should play somebody else. But do you think it's a question of the idea itself, or the fact that, like you said, when it gets to the end for these managers, they rely on the same group and it's no longer really about the football. It's more about like, you know, rah, we love you, our manager.
Yeah, but Ten Hag now he's so stubborn, you know. He doesn't seem to know how to change, but he's been stubborn, and I think his mind is set. He wants to go down with the ship and playing his type of football, the football he's trying right now,
Kamikaze
no matter
football,
what.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just the way it is. We talked about it on MUFC Realist TV, and I used the analogy about Ten Hag is like the captain of Titanic. He's just staring right ahead, and we see the iceberg. Everybody sees the iceberg. We're yelling to him, screaming into his ears, "The iceberg!" But fucking Ten Hag just stand there on the rudder doing nothing. And this is what we are seeing at the moment. And I'm so freaking frustrated by this manager. And I've been talking about this since the first game of the season, and we still have the same issues. So this is my problem with Ten Hag. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm starting to be done with this manager. How do you
Sean,
feel?
you say something about if you give him different set of players. He has those players.
No, that's the thing, though,
22
right?
man squad.
No, so if
He has those
I think both of us agree
now,
on that
it's a
point.
sackable offense.
Yeah.
You know, it's a sackable offense, right? To think that Wan-Bissaka and Dalot can invert. It's a sackable offense in itself to think that Rashford and
Dalot can
Garnacho
invert.
are
Like,
creators.
Dalot has been one of our best players
cannot
now
invert
this season.
He cannot invert. He's good on the ball, but that doesn't mean that he can invert properly. He cannot invert.
I think being good on the ball is like the fundamental requirement for, you know, being able to invert as a wing back. But it's like Dalot, and also Dalot has been one of our best players this season. Shaw would be much better in left back, or a different left back, you know, that is more consistent or more available than Luke Shaw. But I think what the point Jarvis was making and what I was trying to tease out is whether people think it's the tactic itself, the type of football he's trying to play, or the fact that he's trying to do it, as Jarvis mentioned, with a select few players that he feels like he trusts or that he wants to work with.
Yeah, for me, I think that the problem with Ten Hag is sometimes of his principles. He's talked about his principles, and I think he has instructed his players to look for triggers and triggers how to and when to transist, for example, when to bomb forward, and we have a severe lack of a ball playing defensive midfielder, the guy who are in a type like
I agree.
Frank de Jong.
Rodri.
Yeah, but a guy who knows how to set the tempo of the game, who knows when to go and when to stop, when to hold on to the ball and when not. At the moment, I think the players are just doing as instructed. When we have the ball and there's an opening, okay, you should go for it. And we are trying this too hard. But if we have had a ball playing DM like Frank de Jong, he would have been dictating the tempo more in a way. We see it when we play differently as soon as Eriksen comes on the pitch, because Eriksen is like the maestro in a way, who can conduct the game and conduct the tempo and how we work together. But when we have Bruno playing in the number 8, dropping down, Bruno is set in his mind. He just wants to do one thing, and that's try.
I thought that was what Kobe Mainoo was going to do for us when he first came into the team.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't put the responsibility for conducting the game on an 18-year-old. It's impossible. He can do it maybe sometimes, but it's impossible. So Ten Hag is asking for the impossible.
Jarvis, he's been brought down with the shit around him. The talent burns out when you're not playing with quality players week in, week out, or your team's not functioning. And any young kid that comes into this situation, I feel sorry for him. I do, because they're going to burn out and tarnish it. And you've seen anyway with what we saw with Garnacho. The kid's burnt out. He's knackered. He's absolutely knackered. He's played 90 minutes for God knows how many weeks now. He played 120 minutes a couple of weeks ago against Liverpool. Completely stretched the whole game. The kid's done. He needs a rest. And the excuse that we always lay with this manager is he has injuries. He has Ahmad there. Ahmad's not played hardly any games since he had that injury. He's not had a consistent run since that pre-season debacle. That was it. You've got a player there, use him. We've seen his capabilities against Liverpool. Use the kid. You've exiled Sancho. If Sancho was a player you could have reintegrated into the team, put your differences aside against you. There you go. You have another player at Ten Hag. But no, what did you do? You made it all about yourself.
Nah. Sancho is X, man.
And then you've exiled him off or anything. But it's a different conversation anyway. At the end of the day, clearly, he's had a barmy with so many different... This season, anyway, he's had a barmy with everybody. He's had a barmy with Casemiro at some stage. He's had a barmy with Varane when he wasn't playing him for multiple games. Rashford's been on his piss up here, there and everywhere, and he's had to discipline him. You've had the same situation that I've just said with Sancho. And like I say, guys, I'm probably even missing out a couple of players here and there in between. He's completely blitzed Garnacho in the media now. Like, the guy... In terms of being Manchester United manager, elite managers will protect you in the press conference. When you go to the media, they'll do what they need to do on the training pitch Monday to Friday. If they need to fucking beat you about with a cane and say, listen, this is where you're going wrong, that's how you do it on the training pitch. You can make improvements with players on the training pitch, not in the press conference, not in an interview. And at the end of the day, with Erik Ten Hag, all we've seen from this season anyway, from the game one was, we just get run through midfield. He has had all season to adapt, whether it be the formation, system. He's had international breaks in between. And he's failed. He's failed to come up with a solution. I don't care if it's you park the bus in every single game, if it means you don't get run through, and you rely on transitions, I don't care. If it's a solution to us being run through and played around like a bunch of schoolboys, let's be honest, guys, would we really be bothered? No. But the guy's stubborn. He looks at what he's got right now, playing this 3-6-1 or 3-5-1, whatever it is. I think he's just making up the numbers at this point in time and just putting players wherever he feels like it. And at the end of the day, he can lambast it now and say that he's got all these injuries, and there's always an excuse for it, Ten Hag. That's what I see anyway. There's an excuse. It's either injuries, it's either inconsistency, it's either the players aren't playing into form. It's either a dodgy VAR decision. There's always an excuse. There's always a reason that he can fall back and he can hide behind. And like with what he did in the press conference, he doesn't like a question, just fucking walks out. No Manchester United manager, Ferguson, fair enough. He can say what he wants when the journalists criticise him and his team, when he knows and he has the statistics to back up his point. Eric Ten Hag, the facts were there in front of you. It's Manchester United's worst running season if you finish 7th, where we are, and he fucking walks out. Listen, if it doesn't look at if I don't look at Eric Ten Hag in the way that I've seen him anyway, I think he's lost his composure in terms of the players. I think he's lost his cool and calmness with the media. He doesn't have a laugh and a joke anymore. I don't necessarily think he likes the pressure when he has Sky Sports cameras or BT or whoever come into Carrington and they want him to do analysis on how his team's been performing or anything. You don't see that. There's nothing to analyse. Us as fans
Tom,
here
this
right
is probably
now
the
tell
worst
you
job
what this shit's
anybody could possibly have, like, in the world.
I wanna
Of
to
course
go
it
back to
is.
what Sean said about trying to accomplish something with a select group of players
Yeah, it was Jarvis's
based on
point.
trust. Okay, based on trust, right?
Yeah.
Why are we making trust a big thing? What is this trust thing? Is
No.
it a mafia? Is it a Bonanno family or something? Look, how about trying to do their job with the right tool? If you're trying to take out a screwdriver that requires a flathead and you have a Phillips and a flathead screwdriver, why don't you use the Phillips instead? Why don't you the flathead screwdriver? Why are you trying to use the Phillips?
I think the point is that
it's not about trust.
I think the point right now is that, like, it's like a tragedy. It's basically like just sad. It's the same thing that's happened to managers before Ten Hag, and it's the same thing that's happening to him. So you start off, on a high, you achieve something in your first season. Second season, you falter. It looks like it's all going to shit. Basically you start falling out with players. There's drama. Then you start playing, the exact same group of players because the squad basically isn't together. And you feel like there are only certain people you can count on, or maybe you feel like you're rewarding those who respond to you, in a way that you like. It's all going off in the media. Like that's what is happening to Ten Hag. And I think all we can do at this point is lament. I agree with the general point that, like, there's no debate to be had about, like, the questions should Ten Hag remain the manager. I think interesting conversations to have are, one, whether or not he should be sacked, like, right now versus the end of the season, and two, whether it's him, the manager, the idea that he has, or the fact that he has fallen into this, like, place where he's only relying on certain players, and for some reason he doesn't want to, like, give other people a chance.
Sean, I think you answered your own question there, bro. If he is relying on certain players and the output is the same, then to hell with Eric Ten Hag. What the hell are we doing here? You know what I mean? You answered your own question. The second part is, if you sack him Monday or you sack him at the end of the season, what's the difference? Let him play out. Let him run it. The difference is that,
like, it's terrible for us to watch now. Like, what are we doing then for the rest of the season?
Bro, Sean,
nobody's going to.
I would rather start the clean state right now.
Bro, there's no point. Maybe a manager that wants to come in wants this dust to settle at the end of the year. He comes in fresh.
You don't have to bring in a new manager. You just set the tone, right? You start having the exit conversations with these players that you're going to be selling. You sack Ten Hag. So the message is sent across the board that we're going in a new direction and everybody knows what's up. That's what I'm talking about, like, right now. I don't
All right,
see
so we'll have Wally Weir Brolly then. We'll have Wally Weir Brolly.
They thought that Sean, leave him. Let him stay, bro.
What are we doing for the rest of the season? Like, what are we doing?
The trend has already left.
Exactly, it's gone.
Failed already.
Khalas, look, you've accepted it. We're immune to it. Let it go. There's only 6 games left. Maybe he gets the FA Cup. Let's give him a chance at that.
You're fucking
No. That's a bad idea. But it can only get worse from here. And what are you doing? I think that sets you up for failure. It's a international tournament break that we have. There's international tournaments in the break, so you have less time to do what you need to do in the markets generally. Any moves that you're making, you need to be making them right now, before the season ends. Like, this is a $1 billion business we're talking about. If they are waiting to the end of the season, I think what I'm saying, that is a bad decision.
It doesn't make sense it doesn't make sense, guys, even financially, if you get rid of him, because you sack him now, and then you also have to hire somebody in, albeit for 6 games. You have to pay them a contract for those 6 games. They'll want to bring in their staff for 6 games. then you'll have to then lay them off afterwards because it's only short term.
Yeah.
And then you have to go out into the markets and hire another manager anyway.
Not necessarily.
Listen,
You bring a coach of the
Ten Hag-
youth team. Like it's we're packing it up and we're going home. It's a dissolution of the business.
Yeah,
Basically,
of
it's like you're
Sean.
stripping it down.
With
Yeah.
Ten Hag anyway, he's made his bed. Let the guy fucking lay in it. If we were going to get rid of him, I said this anyway. Listen, I said this months ago when the Champions League debacle happened, when we had 3-0 against Bournemouth. I said this months ago. If you want to make a change, you could have made a change midway through the season. You could have got an interim.
Yes.
You could have got a permanent manager out of a job. It could have been done, but they didn't do it. For whatever reason, they didn't do it. And whether that's the ownership clarity because we didn't know
I don't want
who
a
was
manager
the
out of the
owner or
job.
whoever.
But right
if you're
now,
going to go,
I
if
think
you're
that would
going
have been a bad
to go
idea.
down this line of it, then we've got 6 games left to go. We might as well just wait out now. We're just going to waste money if you sack him now, and then you have to hire an interim.
We're going to spend money either way because he's under a contract and his contract is not up yet. So if we're sacking him, we're going to pay him. Why pay him 6
But
months
you
later
pay
when you
him
can
less
pay him now?
because he'll
The
only have a
difference
year left on
is 20 millions if we sack him this season and 5 millions if we sack him after this season. So it's 15 million pounds as I have read.
There you go. 15
Okay,
million.
that's his new
you say he's
information,
in the
and I
kitchen.
agree with you then.
Yeah,
that is-
but then on
I
top
agree.
of that, if you sack him now and you lose that 15 million that Jarvis has just said, you're going to have to pay maybe 3-4 million anyway to hire an interim for 5-6 games, and then
Okay,
you've
let
got
me
to
ask you a
pay their
question now,
staff.
Tom. How much is your temper worth as a United fan? How much is your love for United? Because I would pay 50 million to get Sky House if if it means that I can have hope starting from, because like it's hopeless since you now, and if my hope can start, then let me put a premium basically on the emotional part of being a fan. And if we can start looking forward to something
Guys,
starting from Monday instead of from the end of the season, I think maybe it's
And
extra
that's
15 million.
and that's
I would
exactly, Sean,
Yeah.
why with Eric Ten Hag, I don't want to hear this bullshit around players or VAR or anything like that. If he just come out and said, look, we've got 6 games left from now to the end of the season, and we've got an FA Cup semi-final. We're going to try and play it, whatever it is. Low block, I'm coming up with a solution to not have us run through or whatever. Listen, we're playing boring football as it is anyway, guys, and we're open. So what's the difference going to be if we park the bus and play boring football? Not really much. The only difference is you might not leak as many goals. I've seen this exact same story with Mourinho, the rest of them. Yeah, go on, Lesso, go on.
Oh, Tom. Oh, yeah. I wanted to actually get a point across, but I wanted to get it through my brother. My brother wanted to actually say a couple of things with regards to the whole Ten Hag issue. Is that fine with you guys?
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
More than fine. What's his name?
Shout out to your brother who's been listening.
All right. There you go.
How's it, everyone?
All right, brother. How's it going?
How are you? What's your name, bro?
We go.
Oh, Madiba is the name.
Madiba.
Madiba. It's a nice name.
It's a lot to live up to. Let's hear it, man.
Nah, I'm flabbergasted by what is happening with our club.
That part we
I've been
expect.
supporting this club for more than 30 years. Yeah, nah, this is ridiculous. But we've been saying it the whole season. Like from the even from midpoint, that there's nothing that has been happening. There's absolutely nothing. Like this guy is even trying to hide behind introducing youngsters to try and prove the point that he's making progress within the club. Like there is no substance, there is no style, there is no organization. We are the worst managed club in the world. I've never seen such. Like it's as if 5-year-olds are playing on the playground. There's no sense of organization whatsoever. Like we cannot keep on playing like this. I do not understand. But the one thing that I foresee is that the club at this current moment in time has not backed or has not renewed any contract from the staff that surrounds this guy. So clearly they have someone else in mind to come take over. I just hope it's not either one of those guys that they're mentioning, either Southgate or who's this, the former Chelsea coach. I do not want any of those. Yeah, it was Potter.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
None of those guys deserve to.
I'll take
Yeah,
Deserbi.
none of those guys deserve to be near. Yeah, above all those guys. Yeah, the mentioned two, the two that I just mentioned. We cannot have any of those two. Southgate or Potter, no, none of those. We cannot.
Who do you like?
But the club as is.
Yeah, who do you like?
We need to have someone who. I do not like someone in specifically. I believe that we should go for someone who can implement a style, who can try and take us forward. I believe the Ancelotti option should have the one that they're trying to take over. I believe Ancelotti can take us somewhere. I believe so.
It should be Real Madrid.
Yeah, Ancelotti, if he leaves, apparently he is leaving Real Madrid. He might be leaving Real Madrid, as they say. So if that's the case, then we should actually be chasing that guy.
I feel like Ancelotti is the ultimate vibes guy. Like he requires like extremely talented players to execute. At least that's the way I see the way he's been able to handle this Real Madrid team. I don't think, you know, from what everyone is saying that we need a specific style of play. I don't know if Ancelotti is the person to give us that necessarily. Real Madrid are an explosive team. Like they have beasts basically throughout their team. Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Bellingham, Valverde, who scored that, you know, ridiculous goal. Vinicius, who is a beast. Rodrigo, who is like a lesser version of Vinicius, but also like really good. They've got Rudiger, Alaba. They're a really good team.
You could level that towards Real Madrid's recruitment though as well, because even though Ancelotti's been the manager, they've built that. They've slowly implemented those players in. Like you had Vinny Jr. been all the way through the youth ranks with Real Madrid and everything, and then he's worked his way through it.
I don't know if we should be
Rodrigo's
talking
the
about
same.
like recruit players for Madrid though. Madrid are like the ultimate exotic club. They can get anyone they want. Like it's
No,
not
of
really
course
like
they
a
can.
special
Of course
like
they can.
super
But
talented
they've not just.
recruiting
Sean,
department
what I'm saying to you anyway is
Yeah,
they've
but
not just gone to Ancelotti and said, let's buy 4 or 5 superstars every single window and then hope that they actually integrate together. They've took a player from, say, each season who's been a highlight. Bellingham was like the highlight of last season.
Okay, I agree with that, yeah.
And then they brought him in. Mbappe will probably be that same player in the summer that they do. They always have that highlight figure. Hazard was it a couple of years ago. They always do it with one key player. They have that highlight player that they'll bring in, and it makes a standout impact and difference from all the other teams around them. But Ancelotti, even in saying that anyway, guys, for me, I think it is a bit far-fetched based upon if you were going to bring him in, you should have brought him in a while ago. But in terms of the actual players, I think he's a manager. He commands the respect of the players. I think he'd get them on side. But also in terms of the way that the club's currently being structured, he would want to almost work with the players. I don't, like I say, that's why I say in terms of the recruitment at Real Madrid is done for him. He just wants players who he can essentially put his arm around them. He can have a bit of an influence on in terms of personal development. And then, like we say, guys, he gets the best performance out of the players because he gets to know them on a personal level. He develops those relationships and connections with his players, and he molds them together. He's a proper man manager. He's an elite man manager at the highest level. And that's the one thing that in that game when he had with Pep Guardiola last season, that he probably failed more towards on, was because he's not a tactician. He's not a tactical magnifico, but he's a proper modern-day manager. And Real Madrid, when you look at their distinctive history, when they've had Ancelotti and they've had Zinedine Zidane, when they've had those successes in recent years, neither of those two are tactical masterclasses. They're proper man managers. They know how to work with players. They know how to integrate with players and build relationships. But with what we have right now, guys, anyway, if Eric Ten Hag goes tomorrow, if you sack Eric Ten Hag tomorrow, you already need to line up a couple of these players to go out the door with him anyway. We're all agreeing upon this anyway. We want a lot of these players to shift on. We want a complete reshuffle. And months ago, when people had a laugh at me and everything, when I said that what Chelsea did, and I use that as the example, it can be done. Chelsea shipped off 7 or 8 players to Saudi Arabia, not because that they're brilliant business people. They just got some relationships. They built relationships with the guys who run the Saudi Pro League, and then they shipped 7 players off there. It can be done. John Murtough went over to Saudi Arabia for maintenance. How many players has he sold to Saudi Arabia, guys?
No, they sold a lot of players. They sold a lot of players because they know they've got people who can move
They've got
players
the
on.
connections, though, Nuruddin. That's what I'm saying. Man United, we should be in that market. When you look at something like that, there's an opportunity there to finance new players in, and you can bring new players in from Eastern Europe or wherever.
But Tom, I just want to go back to the Ancelotti thing. I genuinely, the next manager of Manchester United has to be a drill sergeant on the training ground. I don't think Manchester United is ready for Ancelotti yet. Genuinely, I don't think Ancelotti is ready because some of the players need to go, and we need to get in some players because some of the players can't even do the basics. So we need a coach that knows what he's doing. So then, the Ancelotti's when the team is ready, Ancelotti will be the next guy to go. Then,
yeah, they built that Madrid team to bring him on board.
Listen, yeah, exactly. So for me, the biggest thing is Manchester United at the moment need a guy in a training ground that tells players where to be, how to stand, where to be, to get a camaraderie going. But 7 or 8 players, some of the people who started today, 6 or 7 need to go. And we all know who those people are. They need to go. The only people that can stay, for me, I was saying it, if you looked at my tweets, I was saying it before halftime, I was saying, Garnacho is fatigued. Jarvis, how many times have I talked to you on here and talked to you guys on here and said, he's playing this kid into the ground?
Yeah, now we see it with Kobe, the same thing, you know, and you have mentioned it, I have mentioned it, we have talked about it, this channel, everybody knows Ten Hag runs players into the ground, and we have been speaking about this for over a year, Nuruddin. You mentioned it in January 2023. You know, it's and this is back to Ten Hag, you know, not changing things up and being stubborn, as I mentioned earlier. It's always about being stubborn. He's stubborn beyond belief. And it doesn't seem.
No, then I have a question.
And that's why he needs to go. That's why he needs to go.
Let me just get the super chat. Let me just get the super chat. Big up to you. Big up Adewale. Adewale said, I hope we have the same energy kept with Garnacho as Sancho. One giving a run 30 minutes while playing a horrible most games. Sancho just wanted to play and was playing for the Arsenal match. He was not even part of it, right? Well, we don't know what happened there, to be fair, right? But big up to you, brother. Big up Sean P. Casey says, the biggest bottlers of the league lost 4-0. He might be a Spurs fan, this guy. And you lot are delusional. He needs to go, and your team needs to have another 10 years of nothing. You know what? You could say that, but listen.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
that guy is saying that if Ten Hag goes, we would have another 10 years.
No. Listen, I don't think so. I don't. Well. Let me finish. If the Glazers, if the Ineos are as inept as the Glazers, yeah, we will, because they won't know what to do. They would hire the wrong guy again, and the people have to realize without moving out of our squad, without moving at least, if you think about our squad, at least moving 10 players on, and in the next 4 transfers bringing in 10 players, then it's not going to happen. And you need to have the level of caliber of player, people who are athletes, people who are physically fit, and not even just that. The medical department needs to be sacked. The injury and rehab department needs to be sacked. The Manchester United doctors need to be sacked. All those departments, everything needs a clear out. But at sacking just Eric Ten Hag, if Ineos do what Glazers were doing in the past, then yes, I agree with that, with Sean P. I agree with his comment. If Ineos do what they've done, then I agree. And Adewale, genuinely, Garnacho, for me, Adewale, he's been played onto the ground. Sancho was not given a chance. Sancho was the manager didn't fancy him. That's why he played him in the preseason. Let me finish. That's why he played him as a false 9 in the preseason. And we all knew we were getting a striker. So he didn't want him. He wanted him gone towards the end of the transfer. And the Chelsea was the club that, and Sancho was like, nah, I'm not going to Chelsea. But big up to everybody, love and light. I told Mr. Structure that if we're not careful, we will be a conference league. Here we are. Listen, I don't want to be in a conference. I want the players to down tool the next 6 games. And so we end up 9th and 10th. And the next manager comes in and does what he does. And then that also damages Ten Hag's reputation.
But Nuruddin, how much power are you giving to these players to do that? Like, think of what you're setting up. Think of the precedent you're setting up by suggesting such a thing.
No. I'm suggesting that because they know they've been shit. Manchester United this season. Let me finish. Manchester United this season, we played like a relegation team. We won a lot of games. We robbed a lot of games.
Yeah, but you said the players were down to.
No, Sean, hold it there. Mane wants to come in, and then me and you will go back and forth. Go ahead, Mane. Make your point. Big
My
up to everybody. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel.
My question, Nudin, to you is about Garnacho. When you say that he's fatigued, right? My question is he fatigued? Was he played into the ground or he played himself into the ground? Because as a player, when you go onto a pitch, you get an instruction from the coach that, hey, you know what, you can take people on, but when you, depending on the circumstances that you have, do you have to run at a player every single time you get the ball? Because you have to play within yourself and within your ability. We see it sometimes when players are tired, they walk a little bit to recuperate and then go back again. Questioning his football intelligence at that point.
Yeah, but you can't ask Garnacho to be a different player now. Like what we like about Garnacho is the fact that he runs at players, he takes on people on. The person responsible for him, the manager, is supposed to use him wisely. Basically, bring him on. He's a young player, as guys are mentioning. I don't think it's a question of Garnacho. Like Garnacho is who he is. Let's not ask him to be somebody else.
Yeah, but at the same time, you
No,
know,
listen, Mawani. Listen, Mawani.
Yeah.
He's a youngster.
That's the
He's a
real
youngster
brother.
at the end of the day.
He's a youngster. He's a youngster. He's a youngster. To me, you're never going to hear me come out and slate youngsters. You see Kobe already. Kobe looks fatigued as well. He's 18 years old. He's going to be 19, I think, next week. So I'm sorry. What you do with those kind of young players, you bring them in for 2 games, 3 games, take them out for 5, bring them back in, get them on, you know what I mean, as substitutes. Don't burn them out mentally and emotionally. It's absolutely shocking. Guys, there's only 200 of you in here, and it's only 59 likes. Should be ashamed. The channel is shadow banned. We are demonetized, so please. Bumbaye.
Don't be snide, man. Don't be snide. Don't be Israeli. Hit the like button. Come on.
Don't be genocidal with the likes, yeah?
You know what I mean? Listen,
I don't make joke about
you know
that,
what I'd
bro.
say, bro? Us guys are here talking about Garnacho.
No, Bumbaye, listen, my question is simple. We need to stop talking about we need to stop talking about the players and Ten Hag. We've said enough. I agree with Jarvis. We're saying the same things again and again, and it's just repetitive.
Exactly.
Right. So now I want to talk about moving on from this manager. I need you to Conte is the guy that's your dream wish. Who's the next manager that you want?
Antonio Conte.
But after that, who do you want? Give me the 3 managers that you would take.
Defend that opinion, Abumaye.
Right,
Why Antonio Conte?
Bruv,
Does he have a job right now?
No, he's not even employed yet. He's not employed now. So he's available. For me, man, it's Antonio Conte. I've got 3 for you. The third one is I'm not sold on it completely, but I'm just going along with it because everybody else seems to love him, which is De Zerbi. I have my doubts about De Zerbi. I think he's good, but Brighton are faltering, man. They're faltering quite a bit. Do you know what I mean? And every time De Zerbi comes up at a game where I think they should win it, they don't win it, or they're susceptible to a good slapping, and I don't expect it. And De Zerbi, what you've got to understand about De Zerbi, what you need to consider is not just what De Zerbi's done, and that when you listen to Roberto De Zerbi talk about Brighton, what I like about him is he gave a lot of credit to Graham Potter. Brighton under that Hughes guy were, falling apart, relegation. Potter came, Chris Hughton. Potter came, absolutely got that club on its feet, made them a really good team. So De Zerbi's been given a beautiful platform to say, yo, standards are set. We play very attractive football. Get some better players in, tweak it, and you're away. You bring De Zerbi here to this team, to this state of Man United. It's the same argument I was talking to my friend about. He says, Alonso. I said, look, Alonso to Liverpool makes sense to me. Fine. They're primed to go. Manchester United are not primed for anything. There's no standards. There's no consistency. There's nothing there. You have to build from the ground up. And
that's why we need a builder, not a vibes guy. Conte is a vibes guy.
No, you're wrong. Conte is not a vibes guy at all. Conte, bro, is exactly what I think we need at this moment in time. A very big manager that has managed everywhere. These players are not going to look him up and down and size him up.
Let me know his vibe. Conte is a personality guy, and I guess all managers need to have personality.
No.
But
Sean,
let
me answer it for you. You need a strong personality, a big personality that is going to command the respect of a dressing room like Manchester United. You need a guy. You might hate Mourinho, but Mourinho will bench Paul Pogba. He will bench Anthony Martial. He will bench anybody. You're talking all the time about Eric Ten Hag that he doesn't do that.
That's what I mean, though, Gumby. We've been there, though.
Mourinho is the promised one.
Lads. If you're gonna ask a question, let me at least answer it.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Timing is important in football. We've moved on since 2016, Jose Mourinho. That's gone. Now we're at 2024. Things have changed at Manchester United. A lot of things have changed. We're getting a new structure in now. You need a manager. For me anyway, my opinion, I'm not asking anyone to agree with it. You have your own ideas. But if you're asking me, I want Antonio Conte. I think Antonio Conte plays very good football.
Out of the managers, out of the managers that you chose, out of the managers that you chose, that you've just said those three, with the new structure that you've just brought in, that's been brought in, who do you think they would pick? Realistically,
it's irrelevant to me who they would pick. You're asking me.
No, who do you think they would though? Out of those three, who suits what they want better?
Well, who knows what they want? What do they want? Do you know?
Well, by the looks of it and the sounds of it, anyway, they just want a coach. They don't want anybody who wants a veto on recruitment or anything. They just want a coach.
But they're going to get whoever they want. If they want Southgate, we're going to have to accept Southgate. If they want De Zerbi, we accept De Zerbi. If they want whoever they want. I'm not telling you Conte's popular. I'm trying to tell you exactly why I want him. I think his football is exactly what we need here.
What's Conte's football to you?
People. Well, Conte, number one, changed system with Chelsea over the course of the season 3 times. He started 4-3-3, tried 4-4-2, and then he went 5-3-2. And he won the league. Look at the work he did at Inter. Look at the work he did at Juventus. Look at how he brought Italy back. Yeah, he was only there, but look at where they were before, and look at what people said after Conte had them. I'm not telling you he's a long-term. Conte's a 3-year guy. That's what Conte does. But, bro, he's got personality. He's got experience. He's won this league. He's won the FA Cup. He's got it all. And I like the character because he will bring the club into disrepute if it needs to be. He will slap the players down if they need to be. They will get benched if they need to be. You go and get somebody like Graham Potter or one of these. The danger is you have another Eric Ten Hag. He's not done nothing in football. What's De Zerbi done in football? This is a big step up from Brighton. And Brighton, you didn't build Brighton. Brighton was ready for you to come and step that stone and go to the next club. So you want De Zerbi? I go with De Zerbi, but my man is Conte.
So okay, I'm going to move on now. Sean, who do you want as manager?
No, I mean, Gumai paints a very good picture. And if Conte is able to do what we need, I feel like football has moved on from the Antonio Conte type of football, the Mourinho like school. I think managers now need to be a lot more detailed and a lot more progressive about how they play. Unless you can arrange a Madrid type of team. If you can get Tchouaméni and Camavinga in midfield, then sure, go ahead. And Bellingham, then sure, go ahead. Play the, high intensity on the back foot in some way, and Vinicius on the wing. Yeah, do that. And if you have the ability to bring in Mbappe, sure, get Conte. And if the manager is able to get exactly what we need out of the players from him, then sure, go ahead. But I feel like that's asking too much of one, United, and two, where football is right now. So I would look more towards like a manager like De Zerbi or Alonso if it's possible. A manager that has like a style of play, somewhat, of one of the schools that I think exists. So pick one essentially and try and implement it in a detailed way. De Zerbi or Alonso for me. Alonso if I can steal him from, because I like how Leverkusen play. He has the aura, I think, necessarily. As a Liverpool player, he probably wouldn't give a shit about the United. He won't gas it up the way some of these other managers do. He might just be there for a job.
Jarvis, who do you want as manager of Manchester United or coach? To me, I don't want a manager, I want a coach. Who do you want, Jarvis?
Yeah. Do you think anyone can coach this group of players? That's the only question, because I think they
You
are.
can get rid of who you want, Jarvis, in a dream scenario. Let's have a fantasy here. Let's fantasize. We need to fantasize a bit. Dream scenario, all the players you want out of this football club
No,
are gone. Who
let's
do
not
you want as a
fantasize.
coach?
Yeah,
Who
but
do you want as a coach?
the thing is, we are like, I heard Jay Daly talked about this earlier tonight, and then he said that we as United fans, we are like goldfishes. We have no memory at all, and we've been through this over and over again in the process, and we have sacked manager after manager. Ole, who came in with good vibes, Jose Mourinho came in with the structure and defensive play. Louis van Gaal tried the possession thing, the chosen one after Alex Ferguson, and all those interims in between with the Ragnick and Gegenpress. And now we have tried to, with the expansive style of Ten Hag, nothing works. We have tried almost every style possible. And we can all sit here and wish and try the fantasy. But for me, at the point, we have come to a point now where I understand that the structure of the club is broken. Everything we do turns to shit either way, because of we have the glazer, the mentality, the money, the media, the social media, all the glamour, all the fans talking, and the players who think they are prima donnas, and it doesn't matter if it's Pogba or it's Rashford or it's Alexis Sanchez or whoever. You can just name a whole bunch of players, and they all turn out the same because of the structure. And now we hear rumors that we have contracts that players need to play at least 60% of the games and blah blah blah, and deals are done. And it's not on merit, it's not about your performance anymore. You can and we see it over and over again, and everybody's fighting everybody in this club. No one is pulling in the same direction, so it doesn't matter who we bring in until we can fix it. So, but if I could just throw out the name, for me, I talked about Michel at the Girona, but he wouldn't change much. It will still be the same after 2 years.
May I come in?
You have to change. You have to change managers. You can't just think of what's gone in the past. Nearly 10 years ago and stuff, and you put some of those 10 years into perspective. They were exactly interim. We didn't expect, a divine moment. There is the right manager out there who can get much better than what we're seeing out of this team and add to it. And people can play on merit. We've seen it before. We've seen players that are unpopular replace players that we think are much better, but they're playing on merit. But this manager has lost the reins of this club, and that's why we feel the way we feel. But there are managers out there, I feel, not just the one I want, others that are a better fit for this current Manchester United team. We can't just stand still because of what's gone before. What's gone is gone. The club is moved on as well.
So what I have to say about the new manager is, what do we want as fans? Do we want a rebuild, or do we want a quick fix? So if we want a rebuild, then we need to go for, are we trying to go for the pragmatic manager, or are we trying to go for the progressive manager? Where we come from, and with everything we've suffered through, I don't think that we can withstand a quick fix or another pragmatic manager. I think we need to go for a progressive manager, as long as those managers stay true to their principle and don't compromise. Which means if the manager come in, he have the full support of the board behind him. He believe in his tactics, and if there is the current crop of players cannot execute that tactic, and he tells the board, listen, I know this player is your jersey seller, but he has to go, then he has to go. But I believe progressive manager will do the job for us, whether it's Deserbi or Porter.
Lonnie, if I can challenge you a little, like I think you present kind of a false choice in the sense that like you shouldn't have to choose between one or the other necessarily. What you need, what you're looking for, like I said before, is a unicorn, Pep, Klopp. Because if you use City or Liverpool as the model, let's say in modern football, a manager gets 10 years. If you're very good at the club, you get 10 years. The first 2.5, are for the quote unquote rebuild. The middle years are when you get into your groove. And like City or Liverpool are, the last few years are your peak, and the manager bows out and the club transitions. So any manager that we're looking for, like we shouldn't have to be choosing between rebuild and immediate success, because I don't think managers want to be sacked. Like most of them have that same vision and they're just laid out in their minds as well, and it doesn't go the way they want to. I think we have to give serious credit to the fact that like everyone is like Nuruddin and Jarvis have said, we've been here before. We've had the exact same situation. Something structurally, has to change. It's not just a question of like bringing a different manager and letting him use his magic powers as a manager to change, like, what is going on. The way the club recruits, like we need one of two things. We need either the financial backing, like City have, or the transfer market savvy, like Liverpool have. Like Liverpool were balling out with Wijnaldum in midfield and Henderson, basically like that type of savvy in the market to go and get a player for a good price who is, fit, or the right temperament, basically, to perform at a high level consistently. That's what we need. That savvy is what I think Ineos is trying to bring in by these hires that they're making. And they have to be really strategic, essentially, in choice. It has to be somebody who is willing to implement a top-down footballing structure, not somebody who relies on passion necessarily. That passion has to be part of it, which is why I'm saying we need a unicorn. We need Pep or Klopp, somebody who has both of those skills.
No, the reason I'm saying that is because we already have the structural change going on. So if we pick a manager that's progressive, for example, and he believe in his tactic, what that does is that instead of saying that we have a 3-year mandate for him to prove us anything, his tactics will buy him time as he's progressing, as he's implementing his tactic. We can all see what he's doing. That will buy him time, and as long as he have that structure behind him to provide him with the right profile of players, we will be good to go.
Can
Well,
I
we
just
hope,
say,
Luwani,
Nuruddin,
let me just get the super chat. Mumbai, let me just
that's
get the super
my
chat.
last thing.
Listen, big up Mufc TV. Thanks for the super chat. Sorry, but conceding 20 more shots per game is awful. Not even against strong teams. Can't blame Unana when we concede since he saved us a couple of times. Big up to you, bro. I hope you're well. Let me to me, I'm not asked Lesso. I think Mumbai will come back to you. We'll ask Lesso.
Okay.
Lesso, who do you want as the next coach of Manchester United?
I'm thinking that we should get Ancelotti, De Zerbi. I think one of the two, would be applicable, because you have Ancelotti, who's might be possibly leaving Real Madrid end of the season. That's an opportunity. I didn't think he would be available personally, but now there's a lot of rumors going on that he may be leaving end of the season. So it's someone I personally think we cannot miss out on. De Zerbi would work as well, in the terms of the fact that we have a 3-year project. He can come in and instill. Yes, it may be hard. Listen, it may be hard to do what he needs to do, but he will do it regardless. That's what we need from a coach, anyways, regardless of what we're trying to do. Anyways, we need someone who's in and coach and not manage. Someone who the club can buy players for to play a certain style that they want to play, and he's the man for that kind of job. And that only makes sense if you think about it. But if you don't get him, you can get someone like Ancelotti. Like I say, Ancelotti is a person that you can tell to play a certain style of. They're the type of managers that can actually be flexible. Mourinho, just the other day, actually came out and said that when he got to Real Madrid, he couldn't play what the style of football he wanted to play. He had to adhere to the style of football that the club wanted him to play. There's a reason why till this day he still has his Real Madrid team has outscored every other team Real Madrid has ever had under any other manager ever. So it's not a thing where I feel like it's the type of manager you need to get, but I feel like it's a type where you need to set a standard in what you want your club to play. So any manager, personally, if it's high class, you talk about your Ancelotti, you talk about your De Zerbi, you talk about all of these guys. If you bring them in and they already know what they need to do, their job is there to coach. Ancelotti goes to Real Madrid. He does not dictate. I want this player, I want that player. You know what I'm saying? They already tell him, this is the players we're signing for you, and we want you to play this style of football. And he has shown that he can do that. He's been doing that for how many years? So for me, personally, it has to be one of those guys. It has to be people who have been under those kind of circumstances that can raise up to those type of challenges, and who are not going to complain and tell us that I don't have the players to play this sort of style of football. I don't want to hear any more excuses. Like, that has to end. This has to be the ending of it, personally. Yeah.
Big up, bro. Listen, we can go around in circles and talk about this all day and night. At the end of the day, Manchester United are a football club, not because of Eric Ten Hag. Where we are, it's all to do with Eric Ten Hag. The club is rotten to the core. The vultures who own this football club did not want to sell it. They didn't want to go for the full sale. They've got Jim the Vanity Ineos quarter sexual band, and we'll see what they do. But at the end of the day, it's just about wait and see. FC. I do not want an interim manager coming in till the end of the season. I do not want that. I need Eric Ten Hag to be damaged, and these players and Eric Ten Hag to damage each other, so then we can get rid of both of them.
No,
To the end of
are
the
you a
season.
masochist? Like, what is going on?
Nah, that's right, bro. If you said to me, I'll burn the whole place down, I'm telling you now, and start again. I swear to God, I will burn the place down. That's what I am. I'd rather get relegated. I wish we were near the bottom so we could get relegated to get rid of the Glazers. Because genuinely, deep down in my heart, I don't feel until we got rid of those vultures, we can get our club back.
Do you know what,
Genuinely.
man?
No, then
The guys in
Go ahead, Bombay.
what you said.
the boys,
No, no,
Jamie,
no, 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 no,
Lillis.
no. Bombay, wait a minute. Tom, I need to ask Tom. Tom, who do you want as manager? Fantasy, get rid of the players that you don't want. Who do you want as manager?
I've always stuck by my I've always liked Hansi Flick. I like the aggressive style of football. I like the high pressing. Listen, even when we played the Ragnick style, which is very similar to what Hansi Flick does. For 30 minutes against Crystal Palace, guys, I was entertained. You know something? I was actually fucking entertained when they did it. Full press, hybrid, 1-0 up, I think, what was it, in 5 minutes with Fred. Full energy, full throwing football. It can be done. I saw it for 30 minutes. So you take that and you do that for the rest of for another 3 quarters of the game. There you go. You've got a full 90 minutes of high energy football. But I understand what everybody says anyway. Listen, even with the same thing with De Zerbi and stuff, I hear for it with De Zerbi. I can hear it. De Zerbi is working, basically, guys, he's working with either young players at Brighton or over the hill players, likes of Lewis Dunk and everything. But the one thing that he does with those players is he gets the best out of them. He gets the best out of what Lewis Dunk is. He gets the best out of what Pascal Gross is. People didn't even know who these players were years ago. Solly Marsh. He gets the best out of average players, what most people would say. They are average players. When we took over from, say, when Graham Potter took over, yeah, he took Brighton up to another level, fair enough. You can say that's down to coaching and also maybe the recruitment side of things. But what De Zerbi did with that squad, especially in the time frame that he has done as well, he took them up to that next level. And he has almost continued on the great work of what Potter had done. But I think De Zerbi, for me anyway, with a proper structure above him, like what he has at Brighton, with better players, at a higher level performance, the guy's got his ceiling. And as much as people want to criticise what he said when he said, I'm not prepared to sign on the dotted line to say that I'm here to stay or anything, I look at that more as a positive than a negative, guys, because he wants to be progressive. He wants to be successful. He has the ambition, and he believes that he believes in his own eye, and he believes that he's going one way, and that's up to the top. And at the end of the day, like I say, my personal preference anyway, I'd go with Hansi Flick because he's had the track record. He even won the Champions League in short space of time with Bayern Munich. He's coached big players. He's been at a big football club. He's been under a restructuring and shuffle that Bayern Munich had. I can understand what happened with the German national team. Listen, the German national team have been shocking for years. It's aging, it's depleting, and quite frankly, guys, it's shit. They've not really got a new generation of young players coming through. So I can give them partial leeway in terms of that acumen. but he's won the big trophies in Europe. He's got a pedigree. He's got a record. De Zerbi, for me, if he goes to a proper football club with a structure underneath him and he can work with high-level performance players, I think he'll win big trophies. I do. And put it this way, guys: if he goes to Liverpool and he plays the exact same way that he does with Brighton, but with those Liverpool players, when he turns up at Old Trafford, what's everybody on this panel going to be thinking? Oh shit, we're in for a proper game here. That's the one thing that I look at anyway with Manchester United is I want a manager who's going to come in. I'll give you the time that you need. Listen, I've always said this. I'll give a manager 2-3 years. If Conte come in, Bumble, I'll agree with you on this. If Conte come in and he played decent football in the beginning, and I can see that we're getting results and we're playing a bit of decent football, I'll give him 3 years. If he deserves it and he earns the right to stay as the manager, then fair enough. Let him see it out and let's see where we go. And I'm prepared to do that with any of the managers that I've mentioned in Hansi Flick or De Zerbi, but the structure has to follow them at the top. I don't want this veto on players, recruitment. I want the manager, or in my opinion, I agree with what Nuruddin said. I want the coach and the recruitment to be separate. They're in the same sphere where the coach can say, I need a right back. Right, that's the recruitment department's job. You go and find him a right back. And if he likes the player, he meets the player or whatever, they wine and dine over dinner, and then they sign the player, fair enough. That's fine. If he thinks he's the right character for the squad. But I'm not here for any of this other shite anyway, but big up, Lilies. Big up. Anyway, Nuruddin, go ahead, Bombay, if you wanted to make that last point.
Let me revise what I said a bit earlier. Forgive me. I'm, a bit excitable. I'm watching the news. A lot's going on, as you can imagine. But Lillis every week, like structure, has just said, like Jamie so articulately put it, that we won't go anywhere as long as these CUNTs are here. And he is right. What I really want is a change. I am so tired that I would probably bring the petrol to help you burn this whole shit down and rebuild it. Yeah? Because it's been garbage for 2 years, man. But it's all right because you've got to invest in it. It's just the nature of the way things are. You hope we're going to turn a corner. You hope we're going to. Antonio Conte, De Zerbi, I want a change. And what I'm looking for, when you ask me for my manager, I'm not envisaging a title challenge. I'm not envisaging a Champions League. Let me make that clear. What I want is to move forwards from where we have been for the last 2 years and where we are today. What that means is consolidate, have a clear vision of exactly what I want, and bring in the right players to do it. And what you will get from me is patience if you're giving me results and shit football. I'll also give you patience if you're giving me great football and no results. As long as I feel I'm going somewhere with you. That's all I want. And if we're going somewhere, there will come a point, because every top club demands results and entertainment. You don't go to City, Liverpool, Arsenal, United and get away with 1-0s. It doesn't work. And you don't get away with playing sexy football every week indefinitely and then saying, oh, you know what, we deserve to win, but we're not winning anything. We're not getting the points. You got to do both at a certain point. So I need a change. Antonio Conte, forget all the stuff that I'm telling you. I do believe it. It just feels right to me. I trust my intuition as a person in most things, and it serves me well. It just feels like the right appointment for me. When I look at this guy and I look at the body of work and I take into consideration exactly where we are and what he does, what he's good at, he works very quickly. If you look at Tottenham, were a disaster when he took him.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, and he did well. And don't forget, he was 2 points off fourth and he left by mutual consent. I think Tottenham, if you watch today's game, guys, I don't know if you did, they were demolished. I watched the game, absolutely demolished. The problem with Postecoglou is, has he got there the same symptoms that we seem to have manifested at Man United, which we didn't have years ago, that Conte spoke about? You're just soft. You're not up for it. That's what he left them with.
The reshuffling, those Spurs. They are, to be fair to them, they are reshuffling.
Fair enough. Today, you watch them, exactly what happens to us was happening to them. 4 goals, all the same goals, all of them the same goals. got caught on a break. You want to play with majorly high risk. You leave your defenders exposed. Van de Ven got exposed so badly today. I'm reconsidering how good this guy actually is. Demolition job, bro. Antonio Conte, I feel people are unfairly looking at him and not really taking everything on board. But that's my intuition. Let's get a change. Whoever it is, let's just see some progress, man. I don't want to win anything. So when you ask me, I'm not giving you the solution of the future and the titles and the silverware. What I'm telling you is where we are right now, I just want to see improvements. And that means better football. Do you know what I mean? And
if they're bringing Antonio Conte, one thing's for sure, you'll have all the fucking documentary specialists want to come round and do a series on Man United. I'll tell you that,
and they'll take it because they love a pound note.
I'm surprised they've not done one for this season. The injuries, the blow up with players. We've even had fucking body parts have been, human remains have been found in the training ground. It's an absolute car crash of a season. We've had a 1-star food rating on TripAdvisor. Like, what the fuck is going on with this football club this season? You've had Ratcliffe's come in, Dodgy Dave and everything. Listen, they'd have had a fucking field ticket with it all. Amazon, mate, you missed out. I'm telling you. If you didn't want to buy the football club, you could have done a documentary on this football club, mate. But we don't need to see the insides of our football club. We already know what the causing root of the problem is, guys. And it's always been the Glazer family. And as much as you can disillusionate it now, listen, to Jim, as much as people want to lick up his arse and everything and want to get on the high horse with Ineos and everything and ride it into the sunset, that's fine. What have they done? You've got 2 people on gardening leave who currently aren't employed by Man United, and we don't know when they're going to start. You've got Omar Barada, fair enough, you've done a dark deal on the dark web with Manchester City, and you've managed to get him out there. Fair enough, you can give credit for that. But even as much as they say, guys, they talk about the word that I always hear with Ineos is high performance, high performance, high performance. If it's high performance that you want, like we're saying, guys, it leads the only way that leads to me anyway, in my view, is a coach, not a manager, a coach. And if I look at someone like we were saying before, like with the likes of De Zerbe's, the Nagelsmans of this world, even Klopp's, for example. Klopp, for me, I don't look at Klopp as a manager. I don't look at him as a manager. I think he's grown into a manager. But when he went into Liverpool, he was a coach. Works 9 to 5, Monday, Friday, high intensity training sessions, tactics galore. And if it means that some of the players get injuries and they get fitness issues, you know what they did when they started to pick up injuries, Liverpool? In that first year under Klopp, first thing that they did, and Nuruddin and me have been kicking on about this for years, they hired a fitness coach. Liverpool didn't have a fitness coach for about 6-7 years before Jurgen Klopp came into that football club. First year, I think they got to the Europa League final. I think they had about, out of a 26-man squad, I think they only had about, 12 or 13 players that were available, and the rest of them they made up with young players on the bench. That was it. And they blew the whole team up. So then they reassessed the whole structure internally, and they got a fitness coach in. Fitness coach comes in. Do you ever really hear Liverpool have injuries now, guys? Nowadays? Never. Hardly, anyway. They don't have the mass injuries that Man United have had this season. But at the end of the day, we're seeing this new structure and this new wave coming, guys. They've replaced everybody but the manager. So whether the results were going to upturn or not, I think it's inevitable that there's going to be some sort of replacement. But like I say, guys, the way that we're seeing it in the media and everything, we're all sitting here shitting ourselves if Gareth Southgate or Harry Potter gets in the job. So if anybody wants anyway, when the Euros are on, start cheering for England. That's all I'm going to say. Start cheering for England, and you might avoid the fucking draw.
I would like to profess that I don't believe in getting rid of 8 players. It's going to solve our problem. I don't believe that this player is shit, that player is shit. What I believe in is that a manager come in and let his system weed out the bad players. So basically, Ten Hag has never been, I don't believe he's a bad coach. I don't believe his tactics were wrong. I just believe that he didn't stay true to his principle. And when his system start exposing those players, he didn't make the right decision, which is to bench the one that could not play the system. So he chose loyalty to his players over the system. Bring in a manager that believes in his system and support him, I believe we'll be all right.
Yo, guys, we can go around in circles, but big up to everybody. Big up to the therapy army. Please let me know what you want. Please smash a like on your way out. Big up to Claire, Queen of the chat. Big up to everybody. I just got a couple of chats that I thought that were really interesting. Let me just get this super chat. Big up to Mufc TV, says, came back from Umrah. MashaAllah, brother. I hope you did some du'as for us. And Manchester United are still bad.
I think God accepted the darts for us, but rejected the United ones.
Yeah. The prayers when he went to Mecca.
As soon as he mentioned
United fans going to Mecca to pray for United, but when they come back, we're still shit. What does that tell you? What does that tell you, people? What does that tell you? So please, those of you watch this later, let me know in the chat who's your coach, who's your manager. Pick it, because at the moment, what we're watching is not sustainable. I said it from January onwards. This manager has not learned. The most grueling league in world football is the Premier League. The most physical, the most demanding is the Premier League. And he does not get it. He believes in burning players out, and that's all he does. So I'm afraid he's not learned. He's sacking himself. He wants to get the sack. And throwing Garnacho, 19-year-old, under the bus is shocking. He should never have started him. He should have bought him in the last 15 minutes. He should have bought him in the last 15 minutes.
Do you guys believe Rasmus is the guy?
Yeah, I do think so. No, Lumani, listen, we'll discuss it for the next show, but I'll give you a brief answer. He is the guy, but he should never have been the only guy to come in as a striker in the summer. And he got burnt out as well. He started, he didn't have a pre-season. He was injured. He came to United. He was injured still. And then he comes in, and then he's played every minute, played to death till he got injured. And me and Jarvis both predicted that he was going to get injured. So if we can tell it, if we can see it, what the hell is the coaching staff? What the hell is the coach doing? So at the end of the day, Eric Ten Hag catfished us all. Like Jarvis said, the club's just too big for him.
Garnacho
he
didn't train all week, just one training this week, and that was yesterday.
There we go. So listen, big up to everybody. Love and light. Let me know who your manager is. But I'll say this, and I'll say it to everybody. Without getting rid of the medical department, without getting rid of the coaches that were there when Jose was there, coaches that when Oli was there, getting rid of the injury and rehab, getting rid of the club doctor, getting rid of all those, getting rid of at least 10 players over the next 2 transfers, this shit ain't going to change anytime soon. So sacking one person ain't going to change it. Mark my effing words. But let me know in the chat, who do you want as the next coach or manager for Manchester United? Love and light. It's their attitude and ability, 100%. Big up to you, Claire, the chat. I hope you well. Love and light, people. Please smash a like, subscribe to the channel. We hope and pray it's not World War III. World War III is trending on Twitter right now. But after what Israel did to Iran by bombing the embassy in Damascus in Syria, Iran have to respond. It's simple as that. When you go and attack another country's embassy, the embassy, regardless where that embassy is considered in global affairs as part of that country. That's why you hear about diplomatic immunity. So at the end of the day, I don't want any civilians to get hurt. I don't want any civilians to die. But I'm afraid you can't do a genocide and hide behind the US, hide behind the West. They're on the wrong side of history. They're supporting a genocidal state that is Israel. And everybody can see that. So fuck fucking Zionists, fuck fucking Ineos, fuck the Glazers, fuck anybody who stands with the fucking Zionists. Fuck them. They're a record label, them as a crew. Fever the resistance. Fever those who are standing for just and trying to stop a genocide wherever anyone are. We always stand with the oppressed and never the oppressor. 100%. Love, light, free Congo, free Sudan, free the Tigray region, Ogaden, and all these places, same arms company, same multinational corporations, same arms company. All of them, all of it is connected, people. So Manchester United, people went to Mecca and Medina to pray. Even prayers from the holiest places can't save Manchester United. I'm afraid, I said it in January, that football was so sustainable. The way he was burning players out was so sustainable.
It's done now. Sack the manager.
I hope,
sack
you know
him,
what?
Sack him
I
tonight.
genuinely wish to
No,
be
no,
wrong
don't sack
about
him.
everything.
Let him stand there. Let him suffer. Let him
Yeah,
clean up the mess.
I'm not about this like masochism that you guys
Listen,
are
now we
on
are.
for
Now
the
we
rest of
are.
the
But
season.
listen, good night to everybody.
Big up,
Love
guys.
and light.
Yeah.
Catch you in the next one. But I want to thank the people. Let me just thank the people. Let me just get a couple of these chats. Couple of these chats. Mason Mount, by not playing him, 100% agree with you, Claire. We made Dross teams look like prime Barcelona, 100%. We need all the bad apples gone. There's no bad apples. We've got structural problems, Georgie P. Big up to you, King.
100%.
And then Jale says, yeah, United conceded 255 chances. Sheffield, 206. Luton, 201. Burnley, 101 relegation
That's all.
form.
That's not all there is now to form. But go off.
Listen, I think we'll close there. Big up to everybody. Let me know in the chat who you want the next manager of Manchester United. And if you think just changing Eric Ten Hag is going to change anything, then let me know. Argue your point. But I just want to thank everybody. Make sure you check out Jarvis Corner, the legend that is Jarvis on MUFC Realist TV. Jarvis Corner at 9 o'clock. Special show, always interesting. Last one was a smash hit. Make sure you go and check that out. Luani on Twitter, at Sean Thomas on Twitter, and then at Black Razna on Twitter. Make sure you're checking out Let's Go Football TV. Bombaye, never anywhere else. Never anywhere else.
Proud to
Bombaye.
be part of this number, man. Proud to be. You always see us in and definitely see us out. Proudly, respect, always.
Yeah. No, big up. Love and light, people. Appreciate you all. And Tom Journalist 1, check that out.
Hang in there, Tom. It's going to be all right, brother.
Yeah, hold in there. We need to hold in there, people. And big up to Sean, by the way. Sean understood that the ship is sinking. And Sean was like, I ain't here going on like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Sean jumped ship tonight, man. Sean jumped ship tonight.
No. Do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. Listen, I'm just saying to you now, like the Titanic Jack, Sean was like, nah, I ain't freezing in the water. I'm getting on the next raft next to the girl.
Big up Sean, man. Big up Sean. Yeah, I give it him, he fought that corner hard, but respect. He finally came around and seen it.
Exactly. Big up. Love a lot. He said Garnacho was weak, not training, only yesterday. Exactly. Yeah. Bloody hell. But anyway, big up. He's been injured. We see it. He's been fatigued. Big up. Love and light. Take care, people. Love all. Good night. Appreciate you all. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Let us know, people, who you want as your next manager. And if you think getting rid of just Ten Hag is going to fix this, you've got another thing. But let me know the arguments. Big up, people. Love.
Yep. When people you trust